Shalom, Israel, giving honor to the Most High God and His Son, Yahweh. We on the Battle Axes, coming into another Shabbat class to get edified in the Most High God's name. We give praise and glory to our Maker for giving us the allowance to be here to give a lesson to the nation of Israel. We thank the Most High God for using us to be vessels to put truth and equity out into this world. And we just thank Him for another Shabbat, man, another day to go against the ways of the world and come and get edified in His name. We'll be going into a class today called the Good Samaritan. We'll be showing that this Good Samaritan was actually indeed an Israelite and showing how we should be with our fellow brothers and sisters, our counterparts. Because Israel, the world will show you and try to tell you that, oh, the Samaritans, the Lord was dealing with them, they wasn't Israel. But we're in fact going to a few precepts to show you that the woman at the well was in fact the Israelite, and this Good Samaritan was actually the Israelite too. So we just pray that the Most High God open our hearts and ears today to receive this message. With that, let's get started. Let's go to Sirach chapter 12. We'll start at we'll start at 1.
Book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest.
So the Most High God always told us to know whom we do good to, right? Read.
So shalt thou be thankful for thy benefit.
And He said you will get rewarded for your benefits of what you're doing. If you're doing good to your brother or sister, you'll be thankful. But the Bible said know who to do good to, because it's not expedient for you to do good to everybody. Because doing good for everybody doesn't mean that that's going to come back and be good. It's not going to be a benefit if you're doing good for somebody who has no kind of understanding of what they need to be doing. Like we always say, going and trying to give money to a beggar or a homeless man, right? Well, in that state of condition that they're in, is that money going to help them? It's going to keep putting them in a deeper ditch, right? Because if they were dealing with something, they want 5, 50 cents, $1. What they want? They want to go try to get the next $5 to get what? The next rock, the next bird, right? So the Bible said, always know who to do good to. Read.
Verse 2. Do good to the godly man.
Do good to everybody.
Do good to the godly man.
Do good to the godly man, right? And that's hard for us, right? Because as a nation of people, we all were kind-hearted. We are caregivers. We try to look out for our family. We grew up trying to be family-oriented for some part, most of us, right? As a nation of people, I feel like we were family-oriented, but the Bible says you got to do good to a godly man, and not just anybody, right? And that includes your family members too, right? And that's kind of what the Good Samaritan is going into as a whole. Because just because they're your family don't mean they good, right? Just because they're Israelite don't mean they're Israelite, right? We say that all the time. Just because sister wearing that hair wrap and that modest apparel don't make her Israelite. Just because brother got that beard on, right? Just because that brother trying to do a few things don't make him an Israelite. Fringes don't make you Israelite. It's your actions, right? Read.
Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
So you're doing good benefits you from the Most High God's actions, right? You're not looking to do good for somebody for your benefit, right? Oh, well, yeah, man, I did good for you, man, so I should be getting a blessing in return. No, the Most High God is going to give you that benefit that you need, right? Whether it be what? You just making it through another day? Whether it be you, passing this next test? Or your next chastisement that you go through, you're able to withstand it? You don't know that, but we're not doing good for somebody just to go back and tell, like Capt and I would say, Benaniyah, go back and tell her, hey, I had to pay what's his name rent this week. Call him and talk to him. Yeah, how you doing, sister? Oh, no, I had to pay what's his name rent. Damn, that's what you laid off with? Damn, we didn't even get the conversation started. You laid off with that. Did you? So we want to make sure that when we do good, that it's for the Most High God's, man. It's for the purpose of the nation, right? Read.
Verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
Read.
Nor to him that giveth no alms.
So won't no good come from you if you're always occupied around some wrongdoing. You're not trying to give alms. And that's another thing about alms, man. Alms help, man, for your benefit. They benefit you for the good of you. Because that's part of what? That's part of being of the moral law, being able to help. Because like we said, alms is just not for the building. Alms is for when a brother and sister is in need, right? You're trying to help your neighbor. That's a part of being that good Samaritan, right? Read.
Verse 4. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
Read that again.
Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
This is going to touch point when we go into the Samaritan and we talk about the woman at the well, right? Because the Bible is specifically telling us God gave us what? What kind of commandments he gave us? Straight commandments, right? He didn't give us no partial commandments. He didn't give us no half. Oh, well, you may want to do this, or you might want to do this. He gave us straight commandments. Let's get there. Go to 2nd Edge. Second Edge, chapter 7, verse 21. Because when we go into this parable, we see that the Good Samaritan was helping his fellow brother. This was in order with what the Most High God told us to do, man. We wasn't helping on any old nation. We wasn't looking for trying to help the so-called white man or the so-called Arab man or the so-called Chinese man. Because they were not helpers of us. When we came out of Egypt, they didn't greet us with anything good, right? Right when we came out of captivity, the first thing they did was try to what? Spoil us some more. That's why the Most High God say you gonna have a continual war with Amalek in them, man. All right, read this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 21.
Read.
For God hath given straight commandments.
Nah, he gave us crooked commandments.
For God hath given straight commandments.
Nah, so commandments.
Straight commandments.
Straight commandments, right? Read.
To such as came, what they should do to live.
The Most High God gave you the commandment of what to do to live in this world, and what?
Even as they came,
and
what they should do, which they observe to avoid punishment. And
he gave you straight commandments on how you want to avoid punishment, man. He gave that to us. We don't have to go look around and ask somebody else. What God talking about? He said right here in this book. He said it right here in this word. He told us in John 15, he said, I call you friends, right? Called us a friend because everything that the Father gave to Christ let us know it, right? If you'd have been a servant just tell somebody, hey, go do this, right? But the Most High God told us to do this thing, and Christ gave us this understanding and told us why. If I tell a servant to cut the grass, I don't got to tell him why, right? I don't have to tell him why. Well, why you want me to cut the grass? Because I said so. You're going to cut the damn grass. But if I call you my friend and I say, hey, go cut that grass, and they say, why? I said, because there's snakes in there. You need to find the snakes. If you keep your grass cut low, that's the youngsters right there. That's the song, the rap song right there. There's snakes in the grass, cut the grass. But he called us friends for that reason, because he let it be known to us. So the Father gave us straight commandments, man. And we're going to see that through this throughout this parable. Let's go back to Sirach chapter 12. Start at 5.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 5. Do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. So
you can do well to him that is lowly, right? They don't have to, and that's another thing, we tend to sometimes look at people and see them for their where they at in their life. And be like, oh, well, nah, man, that ain't gonna benefit me helping him. But maybe if I can help this brother, because this brother got a little money on him. He fell in hard times. So if I help this brother, I know this brother will be able to give me something back in return, right? That's what we tend to do a lot of times, man. When they say him to the lowly, I mean, that's us, man. We are the lowly. We are the poor, man. Don't look at stature when you're helping somebody, right? Oh, that's a captain. I mean, I'm a captain. I know if I'm helping a captain, he sure get some benefits, right? Read.
Do well unto him that is lowly.
Read.
But give not to the ungodly.
Read.
Hold back thy bread and give it not unto it.
You see what the Bible says? Hold back your bread. Don't give it to them, man. Hold it back. You got to know who to do good to, right? Read.
Lest he overmaster thee thereby. For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
You see that? You'll receive twice as much evil for the good that you do to somebody who is not ready to receive those blessings. Right? The Most High God blesses us, man. Right? And you know, a lot of times I'm going to try to bless this person or that person. But you better know who you're doing good to. In this instance, we're going into what? Helping your neighbor. So like helping your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your nation. Not trying to help everybody else. Right? You trying to help the so-called white man, they kick rocks, man. Right? Read on.
Verse 6. For the Most High hated sinners.
He does what?
For the Most High hated sinners.
Read.
And will repay vengeance unto the ungodly.
And he said he gonna pay vengeance to the ungodly, man. Read.
And keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Give unto the good and help not the sinner.
Give to the good and help not the sinner, man, right? But in this instance, like I said, we're talking about knowing who your enemy is and knowing who your neighbor is so that you can even to start helping your neighbor, right? Because the Bible, like I said, he gave straight commandments. Let's go to Deuteronomy 23 right quick. Let's start at verse 6. We'll just get to the point right quick. Like I said, straight commandments, man. Yes, Deuteronomy 23 and 6.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 6.
Bring it out.
Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all the days forever.
Now, the Most High God is going into our enemies right here in Deuteronomy 23. He's talking about Moab and Ammon, right? Also going into Amalek too. But he's saying we should not seek their peace, nor prosperity. What is prosperity going into? Wealth, right? Getting good. Hell no. Esau ain't got nothing for you. The Bible said we should seek their peace or prosperity. How long?
Forever.
I feel you, bro. Well, let's read the precept and see exactly what it says. But hey, I like that.
Thou shalt not seek their peace, nor their prosperity, all thy days forever.
For what?
Forever.
Oh, praise. That's right. All thy days forever. So you got to know who you're doing good to in this instance, man. We're not trying to help the heathen nations come up on us, man. But guess what? We help them every day. That's why this one day that the Lord give us this Sabbath, we ought to be thankful for this, right? Because we help them when we go into their stores. We help them when we listen to that radio, that music. We help them when we looking at their indoctrinated TV stations, programming, right? Program you. Your national programming stations to program you. We're helping them each and every day. So when the Lord give us this Sabbath to come up out of that world, that's what we got to be thankful for, man. We got to stop helping them and start helping our neighbor, man. That's what these scriptures going into. Go back to Sirach 12. Jump to verse 10, man. Now, matter of fact, start at 8.
Book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 8.
Bring it out.
A friend cannot be known in prosperity.
A friend won't be known in prosperity when it's good. You won't really know a friend when it's good. Read.
And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity.
And an enemy won't be hidden when it's at an adverse time. Man. When it's adversity, that enemy is gonna pop out, right? Read.
In the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved. But in his adversity, even a friend will depart.
It says, in the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, man. People don't like to see you grow, man. They don't like to see the Lord bless you, man. What did Esau say? Just think about it. What did Esau say? Father, bless me also. Do you have a blessing for me, Lord? Father, bless me. That's the same spirit that people have today, man. Right? And that's a lot of times why people won't help each other, our fellow brothers and sisters, because they got that kind of spirit. Well, where my blessing at? When I need to pay my rent, didn't nobody help me. Now they want to talk about help them pay their rent. I don't know. But that's what the Bible is saying. Read.
Verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
The Bible said never do what?
Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust your enemy. Read.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wicked. Though he humble himself.
Though he do what?
Though he humble himself.
Though Esau out here humbling themselves, man, right? Oh, we're brothers. I'm just like you, right? Read.
Though he humble himself.
They go a crouching. Oh, I work 3 jobs just like y'all do. Right? That Edomite was talking about last Sabbath. I'm a 12-time felon with 12-time loser. 6-time felon with his, I don't give a damn, 6-time loser. Right? Though he go a crouching and try to humble himself, right? You still never trust them, man. Because right now they're trying to tell you and show you that the Samaritan was going into what? The other nations. Right? And that's what we're going to go into. Read up.
Yet take good heed.
Yet understand, read.
And beware of him.
And always be on the watch. Keep them close, man. Watch and read.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away.
His rust has never been wiped away altogether. That's what Christ's going to do. Christ's going to wipe that rust away altogether. Right? Like the sister said. So you mean ain't no good white people? No. Jerubbaal told, hey, you got 10 snakes, 5 of them poisonous, 5 of them ain't. Is you gonna put your hand there and see which one ain't poisonous? No, they all damn snakes at the end of the day, right? So the Most High God is gonna come back and deal with that rust. But just because some of them sitting out here and like they good, I was at work last night, man. About 3 white so-called Edomites coming in. They want to party and hang with us. Hey, the white girl, she just in the clips. Hey, look at what they're doing. They want you to keep doing that mess, right? But you always be aware of them because there's something up their sleeve, man, right? Read up. Go ahead.
And just looking at what I'm going into, just like when we dealing with the other nations, I mean, the Lord makes it plain for us in the scriptures, man. If he makes it plain for us on how we supposed to deal with our family members, and they are our own blood, right?
For real.
So if he makes it plain for us how we deal with them, why do we think that we can go to Esau, that he's gonna be better than what we already, the stock that we came from?
That's a great point,
right? If I'm an apple tree, I think I'm gonna go to a pear to get some. Y'all see how they go? I'm not gonna go to a pear if I'm an apple,
right?
I'm gonna go to another apple, right? And not a bad apple. I'm gonna go to a good apple, right?
That's right.
Hey, how do you get red like this? I'm green, but I want to get red one day too, right?
Right.
I'm just making an analogy, right? So in that, right? How do we choose a friend? Anybody give me a scripture? How do we choose a friend? Well, everybody don't speak at once.
Everybody don't speak it twice.
Sirach chapter 6. Let's go there right quick. Come on, baby. Go to Sirach chapter 6. This is how we get our friends.
Yeah.
Right? If you thinking that you want to have a friend in this truth, guess what? I want to call this my brother. This is my sis. This is how you find out this is your sis. This is your brother, right? Because everybody can make it sound good, right?
That's right.
Go to Sirach chapter, man, this whole Sirach chapter 6 is good. But start at verse, shoot. Start at 1 then. Because the whole Sirach chapter 6, this is how you prove a friend. This is how you see who is your friend and who is your enemy. Because what we read in Sirach chapter 12 is we read about the enemy, right? So this is how we prove to see who the enemy is, even in our own nation, right? But read Sirach chapter 6 and verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 1. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy.
Right? So the scriptures tell us plain, instead of becoming a friend, instead of becoming an enemy, be a friend to somebody, right? Read.
For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name.
Right? Because guess what? Read that again now.
Like, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name.
Because guess what? When you become an enemy, when you make yourself an enemy to people, you can get an ill name, man. Right? And that's what we don't want. That's what we don't want in the truth. We don't want an ill name, man. But guess what? You can't make everybody happy in the truth, people. And don't think everybody gonna have your friends.
That's right.
The perfect breakdown is Christ. Christ had many disciples. Guess what? From the many disciples, he had 12 that was following him everywhere. And that was his crew. And out of the 12, he broke it down to what? 3. And out of the 3, he broke it down to what? 1. Y'all see how they go? Everybody, guess what? He didn't hate the 12 disciples because he gave all those spiritual gifts. And everybody was good. Even Judas got the same spiritual gift too. He was healing, he was right along with him. Right? But guess what? The Lord didn't become his enemy. Guess what? He became the Lord's enemy. And he still stood strong, right? The Lord, guess what? And he showed who himself was, man. Right? What did the Lord do? He wiped his looking glass away. Right? So he ended up revealing it, man. These is perfect stories that we go to understand the difference between an enemy and a friend, especially going into our nation and dealing with the other nation, right? Go back to Sirach chapter 12.
Let's go, because like I said, the Most High gave us straight commandments on how to deal with our nation. It get him in a lot. Yeah, for real, I know it. He gave us direct, straight. You want to get it?
Yeah, it's read 6 and 7.
Come on with it. Let's go back to Sirach chapter 6.
This is one of the most very important things, man, at all times. And I'm a witness to this, man. Listen to this. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 6. Be in peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000.
Be at peace with many. Yeah, you had a lot of people you at peace with, but you only need one counselor, somebody that you can go and confide in. But go ahead.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
If thou would get a girlfriend.
Prove him.
No, read that again.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
If thou wouldst get a girlfriend.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
If thou would get a boyfriend.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
Or if you're going to get a best friend.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
Or if you're going to get somebody to kick you with, your friend. If any kind of friend. That's my point. Any kind. Man and woman. Before you get them, y'all better see who these people are.
Husband and wife.
Y'all better see who they are. Not because we know how to do it. I know every one of these mothers done knocked somebody, lied like a mother. And you women done did the same thing. Like you something until you got it. Then you took that nigga head off. Excuse my language. But that's why this is important. Read that again.
If thou wouldest get a friend.
If you're going to get a friend,
prove him first.
Prove him. Prove. Not just talk to him. You need to have proof on this person. Proof don't come in one day. Proof don't come in 2 days. I know your man get horny and be, hey, see proof. Come on.
And guess what? Proving don't come in the pants. Like I was saying, man, I'm gonna prove you with my rod. No, that ain't how they go. She gonna prove you with the P. No, that ain't how it go. Right? It takes a process. It takes a long time. You got to, if you don't really know somebody, guess what? An enemy can be the worst downfall.
Man.
You can try it and act like it's not, but that's reality. Everybody that ever had an enemy, what did you have to do when you realized that they was your enemy? What did you have to do? Not just let them go. You got to watch them. Everybody had an enemy. You watched it. You watched them closely. Guess what? That's what proving's supposed to be. Before you make it to that point, you're supposed to be watching them. You want to wait till something go bad, then you want to watch them. No, proving come before that. That's how you watch for an enemy. That's how you watch when you prove it, right? You want to see if they're gonna snake you. You put some information out, see if they're gonna put it out, right? They give you some information. Guess what they trying to do? They probably peep you out. They like, oh, you trying to give me some information? I'm gonna give you some information too. See what you gonna do, right? This is how friends do, right?
Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemy.
Read that again.
Separate thyself from thine enemy.
The Bible says, separate yourself from your enemies, man. Separate yourselves from your enemies, right? Read.
And take heed of thy friend.
And take heed of your friends. Going into the Good Samaritan, separate yourself from your enemies, man. The Most High God gave us straight commandments on that.
And the only way you'll know that who's your friend and who's your enemy is by trying them.
Proving them. That's right.
Because even like he tells us to love our enemies, which meaning the people in our own nation. Meaning that don't mean I got to hang around them. See, a lot of times we like to do it in reverse. We get a friend and say they our friend until they do us something wrong. Then they our enemy. No, you prove that before you even claim them as enemy or a friend. You try them first. You dig?
Read on. Read 14.
Verse 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense.
Now, how the hell you gonna have Esau as your friend and the Bible said a faithful friend? Esau, the biggest liar on the damn planet. They live in a lie every day because what did the Bible call it? They said they what? Vagabonds, fugitives. They trying to live something they not every day. Well, go back to Africa. This is our land. That's a damn lie. It's not yours. Well, go back to them damn mountains. They don't want to talk about that.
Even there.
That's right. It was given to them. But they're trying to live a lie every day. But the Bible said, we'll read that again.
A faithful
friend. This is how you know that the other nations cannot be a friend, man. The marriages that they doing, the coming together they doing, you gotta stop it. A faithful friend, read.
Is a strong defense. And he that hath found such a one has found a treasure.
And when you do get a faithful friend, you found a treasure. It's like pure gold, man. Let's go to Daniel chapter 11. Yeah.
Read that one part again before you jump over there. That last part you just said.
And he, wait, 14,
right?
And he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure.
See, when you find a good friend, see, everybody got a friend. I got a lot of friends, boy. On Facebook, you go on your Facebook, you got 5,000 friends. Ask for $1, you ain't got none no more. But when you find a real friend, you got a treasure, man. You got something that, hey, man, that's somebody I can go to. That's somebody I can talk to. You see what I'm saying? That's what a real friend is.
Like, I know on this Rock chapter 6, you can go all day long. But read verse 17 and we're going on today. We got to get it.
Verse 17. Whoso feareth the Lord.
This is how you get a friend, by fearing the Lord. Let the Lord pick your friends, right? He said, whoso feared the Lord, read.
That shall direct his friendship of right.
You see how they go? The Lord make a right your friendship. He show you who your real friends is, man. Guess what? Through adversity and everything, the Lord show you who your real friend was from the beginning. Right, read.
For as he is.
For as he is, read.
So shall his neighbor be also.
Right? You see how they go? So as the Lord is, if the Lord directing your friend right, guess what? He gonna make you right with him, and he gonna make your friend right and your neighbors too, man.
And the fear of the Lord is keeping the commandments. So when you're keeping those commandments, guess what? The Most High would direct you to a friend. And not that way you won't be going off, because we pick friends off emotion. Somebody come around, make you feel good, they my friend. Then they make you feel bad, I can't stand that. So we pick off emotion instead of picking friends who the Most High God gives us. And a lot of times the ones the Most High God bring to you and have a real friend, sometimes you ain't gonna like the things they tell you. Sometimes you're not gonna like how they come to you. But a lot of times the reason they can tell you those things they come to you is because they are a real friend.
That's right. All praise. Let's go to that dude, Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. Like we said, we could have been in that Sirach chapter 6. I didn't even want to read 12 that much, but hey, sometimes the scriptures, man, you gotta go, man. Daniel chapter 11, verse 30, start at 31.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 31.
Now this is going into a wicked person, right? Read on wicked people, right? Read.
And arms shall stand on this part. And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength.
So arms going into what? Standards, different kind of things. Like Esau puts out here, man, with the radio, the television, different arms will come and stand on his part, on the wicked man part, right? Read.
They shall pollute the sanctuary of strength.
And some of these things will pollute our sanctuary of strength, man, right? A lot of these things that they put out here is polluting our sanctuary. Read.
And shall take away the daily sacrifice. And they shall place the abomination that make it desolate.
It said they shall place the abomination that make it desolate, man, right? This is what they doing, man, putting us into a deeper hole in our captivity, right? Read.
Verse 32. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flattery.
By what?
By flattery.
He said he'll corrupt you by flatteries. Read.
But the people that do know their God.
But the people that what?
That do know their God.
But the people that do know their God. But the people that do know their God. Read.
Shall be strong and do exploits.
That's the part that I want out this scripture. The people that do know their God. You got to know your God, man. You got to know who your God is for. You got to know who your God is against. You got to know your God's enemies. You got to know your God's strong points and your God's weak points. And our God have no weak points, man. All the strong points of our God, we got to know that. The people that do know their God, they will have exploits. That exploits is going into what? Anybody know exploits? Exploits, that last word. It'd be like a resource, like something that benefits you. When you know your God, it will become a resource. What do they say? Natural resources. What is our natural resource? The biggest natural resource of the Israelites. It's our God. That's our biggest natural resource right there, man. We will benefit in this kingdom by knowing our God and knowing what he calls us for, knowing the scriptures, man, right? Understanding who that Good Samaritan is, right? Understanding who that woman at the well was, a Samaritan, right? Let's go into this. Let's go to John chapter 4. Let's go into the woman at the well a little bit. Start at 1. My bad.
The book of St. John, chapter 4, verse 1.
Bring it out.
When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yahushua made and baptized more disciples than John.
He did. How did he baptize them? Listening, but the word of God, right? Read.
Though Yahushua himself baptized not, but his disciples.
Read, like I was just saying, he gave the disciples that power, right? Read.
He left Judea and departed again into Galilee.
He left Judea and departed into Galilee. Read.
And he must needs go through Samaria.
He must needs go through where?
Samaria.
Read.
Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph.
Now we gotta understand Samaria. Where was the land of Samaria? Ephraim. That's right. Who were these Samaritans? Right. Let's go. How we prove it? What's the precept? Isaiah 7:9. Let's get that right quick. Let's get an understanding of that first. Show you that when he was going through Samaria, he was going through what the Gentiles of our people, right? To understand, know that we're Gentiles of our people at that time, right? Isaiah 7:9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 9. In the head of Ephraim is Samaria. In the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son.
Read.
If you will not believe, surely you shall not be established.
And it said, if you don't believe, you won't be established. So the head of Ephraim is what? Samaria. So that's what the capital, right? The head of Ephraim is Samaria, right? Let's get another point to show you that Ephraim is from the 12 tribes, man, right? Let's go to Genesis. Chapter 48. Genesis chapter 48, and we're going to start at 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 48, verse 1.
Bring it out.
And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
So Joseph took his 2 sons with him, right, to go see his father Jacob, right? And his 2 sons were Manasseh and Ephraim. Read.
And one was told Jacob, and one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat on the bed.
So Jacob strengthened himself, right? Read.
And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. And said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee.
Read.
And I will make of thee a multitude of people. It will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession.
Read on.
And now thy 2 sons.
And Jacob said, and now thy 2 sons. This is the prophecy that he got from the angel, right? And he said, and now thy 2 sons, read.
Ephraim and Manasseh.
Ephraim and Manasseh, read.
Which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt. Before I came unto thee into Egypt.
Or what?
Are mine.
Or what?
Are mine.
He said that now Ephraim and Manasseh are mine. Like who?
Like, as Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine.
As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. This is when you get to understand that Ephraim and Manasseh being part of the 12 tribes, right? This is the first account that you see where that Joseph's 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, will be dictated into the 12 tribes, right? So we see all the way back from the beginning of time that Ephraim is Israelites, right? Then we go to Isaiah 7:9, see that the head of Ephraim is Samaria. So when God walked into Samaria, he was going around what? Israelites, right? So the woman at the well was an Israelite. Let's go back to John.
Hold on for a second, right quick.
What you got?
Genesis, right quick. We are already at Genesis. Jump over to chapter 33, right quick. Because this goes until you said that he bought a portion of land, right?
Yeah.
So this portion of land, he bought it, he pre-bought it, and guess what? And it was supposed to be given to what you say, Ephraim and Manasseh, right? Genesis chapter 33 and verse 18.
The book of Genesis, chapter 33, verse 18.
Read it.
And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem.
Right, read on.
Which is in the land of Canaan.
So this goes into the land of Canaan, which we know the land of Canaan was our homeland, right?
Right.
Read.
When he came from Padan Aram and pitched his tent before the city.
Read.
And he bought a parcel of a field.
So this goes into the same thing with John chapter 4 and verse 5 going into. This going into the same thing with Genesis chapter 48, where Ak is going into, right? He bought a parcel of field. Read.
Where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money.
So he bought this land for 100 pieces of money, right? So we just kind of want to give you some background going into what Ak is touching on. Go ahead, Ak.
That's right. Go to Genesis 49. That's right. So just to give you understanding on that, man, it was already predestined, like we said from the jump. That's why the angel came to Joseph, man. Told him to take in Ephraim and Manasseh like they were your two sons, right? That's right. And I'm glad you pulled that up because when we go to the next point, I want to keep that up. So you see what Samaria is, you see what Shechem is, see what Samaria is, if y'all can see that. Hey, it was bigger. Right, you see where the kind of middle north with the blue, where Samaria is right there? Shechem, right? We just read about Shechem. So you see, this is Israel's territory, right? This is our landmass. So this is where Christ was going. But read Genesis 49 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 1.
Read.
And Jacob called unto his son and said, gather yourselves together.
He said, do what?
Gather yourselves together.
Read.
That I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Now Jacob was letting the sons know, the 12 tribes know that guess what? It's something that's gonna befall you in the last days, right? You're gonna be not acting like brothers, right? You're gonna be at war with each other. Right? Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Gather yourselves together.
What did he tell the brothers to do?
Gather yourselves together.
This is the whole point of Christ's coming, man, to gather us together, man. Because Jacob knew, he said, let me tell you what's gonna befall y'all in the last days. You're gonna be against each other. You're gonna war with each other. We're gonna have to put you back together again, right? He said, gather yourself together, come back together. Like they gathered themselves together here, we want to gather ourselves together again right now, what we're trying to do, right? Let's go back to John, chapter 4. So you see now when Christ was going into Samaria, he was going into the northern kingdom, right? Start at verse 5 again.
The book of St. John, chapter 4, verse 5. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Yahushua therefore being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua said unto her, give me to drink, for his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat.
Read.
Then said the woman of Samaria. Read on. How is it that thou, being a Jew,
read,
askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
This woman, doesn't know, right? She's in a Gentile state of mind, right? But from her point of view, she's seeing that the Jews and the Samaritans were beefing, right? They don't deal with us. We don't deal with y'all, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. This is where you get into your Gentiles, man. Gentile state of mind, right? Go to Isaiah 11 and start at 10, man.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 10. And in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Who is that ensign of the people? That's Christ. Read.
To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
And his what?
And his rest shall be glorious.
And his rest shall be glorious. It said, to it shall the Gentiles seek. All right? Read.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again, the second time.
The what?
Again, the second time.
Again, the second time. Right? Again, the second time. Because that means that they were there from the jump, right? And now you got to go back and get them again, right? This is not talking about everybody. This is talking about what? The northern kingdom that went off and went into the Syrian captivity, that went off, and he said you had to get them again the second time, right? Got something up?
Yeah, that's very, very important. Even like what Ak is going into to hit on that point. Finish your point. I'm gonna get that after you, Ak.
Go ahead.
That the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
To recover. Say, man, I said that about these words, man. Read. I mean, you got to do it again. That means they were there from the beginning. To recover the remnant, to bring them back again the second time. This Good Samaritan, this woman at the well, was an Israelite in a Gentile state of mind. Go ahead, Ak.
Let's go to the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 18, because even she knew the historical context. That's why it's very important that brothers and sisters understand cultural context, understanding the history that follows behind the precepts and the Bible verses. They understood this. They understood that the Most High God wasn't dealing with them no more, man. You get there, read that out.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 18.
Verse 17.
Yeah. Verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
This was prophesied about who? By the prophet Hosea. He was giving prophecies to the northern tribe for the southern tribe to do what? Stop dealing with the northern tribe. Because they was doing what, brothers? Idol worship. That was the sin of Samaria. So it's very important that brothers, even like how I always go over, tell brothers and sisters to read from beginning to end. The more and more you read those things, the more and more you understand the context that follows behind each Bible verse. Read that again from the top.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
Most like God said, leave him alone, because they couldn't stop worshiping those idols and dealing with the other nations. Read on up.
Their drink is sour.
Their what?
Their drink is sour.
Their drink was sour. Meaning what? The doctrines that they was drinking up was sour. Idol worshiping, all those things made them sour. Read on up.
They have committed whoredom.
They had committed who?
They have committed whoredom.
Meaning worshiping other gods. Read on up.
Continually.
What?
Continually.
Even to this day. Look at what them all is. You see them riding trucks, the Santa Maria, the Santa Muerte, all these different type of things. Yeah, my Spanish been getting a little better, man. I heard you. Read on. Read on up.
They have committed whoredom continually.
What?
Continually.
Read on up.
Her rulers with shame do love.
Her rulers with shame do love. They love worshiping them idols, man.
Right.
Mary, man, show us in the scriptures where it tell us to do that. That's why they're in Catholicism. Read on up.
Give ye.
Give ye. So we see the history that goes behind it. Go ahead, Ar.
Because so when So when the woman at the Samaria of the well did tell him, we had no dealing with the Jews, right? Why are you a Jew trying to deal with me? Because she knew, like I said, that guess what? It was given, and guess what? You got to stay away from them unless you come be a part of them now. See, the Most High always gave us straight commandments, man. Straight commandments. Leave the northern kingdom alone. They done fell off. You just stay the course, man, unless you want to fall off with them, right? Let's go back to Isaiah 11 and start at verse 11 again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again. The second time.
The second time. Say, man, this is cold, man. Again, the second time. Read.
To recover.
Recover. Read.
The remnant of his people.
The remnant of everybody.
Of his people.
The remnant of his people, man. Read.
Which shall be left from Assyria.
From Assyria. What?
Egypt.
Who was in Assyria? The northern kingdom, right? They got took over by the Assyrians, man. What was the year? 7 what? All praise. Yeah. 720. Right? Read.
From Assyria. And from Egypt.
Read.
And from Pakistan. And from Cush. And from Elam. And from Shinar. And from Hamath. And from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nation. And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
The outcasts of everybody.
The outcasts of Israel.
The outcasts of Israel, man. Come on, man, read.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah.
The dispersed of Judah, right? Read.
From the four corners of the earth.
Because we were dispersed around the four corners of the earth too, man. Don't get it twisted. We went a Gentile state of mind too. Don't think of. We was just celebrating Christmas 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We was just doing Halloween, right? 2 years ago, some of y'all was just doing Easter, bunny rabbits, right? Don't get it twisted. We had that Gentile mind on us too. Read.
Verse 13.
Hold on. And still got the Gentile state of mind.
Right.
And we still this is what we trying to fight off.
That's right.
Right? And that's what Christ, guess when we read that, that's what Christ trying to get her to fight off. We constantly trying to fight this Gentile state of mind. Because in the back of our mind, while the scriptures coming out, guess what? Subliminally, guess what? All of us, not just some of us, we all, dang, you got to hate the Edomites, yes. Guess what? You got to tell yourself over and over and over and over and over again not to trust them.
That's right.
Because they were so smooth. Brother, you're my brother. Hey, get this honey bun, cupcakes. You want a donut every day? Right? It's hard not to trust them. Right? It's hard. Guess what? Reading the scriptures, it's hard not to be a nigga in the scriptures. Every day. That's why Paul said he died daily, because it's hard not to be, it's hard to stop being a nigga. It's hard to stop, guess what, for you women in Shalaki, it's hard to stop being a real bitch, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to stop being a real nigga. I'm a solid nigga. It's hard to stop being a solid nigga. Right? That nigga solid, right? It's hard to stop being it. Because we got to be an Israelite now, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Let me get another precept.
Real quick. Go ahead.
Let's go to the book of Hosea, chapter 6 and verse 10. Because when brothers and sisters, y'all make sure y'all read the book of Hosea. It kind of give a breakdown of the wickedness of Ephraim.
Boy, you will understand about the Lord not dealing with the northern kingdom. Go to Hosea.
That's right.
Hey, that's the whole book for real. It's a great, great read. Yes.
Hosea chapter 6 and verse 10. Then we're going to jump over to chapter 7 and 1.
The book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 10. I have seen a horrible thing in the house of Israel. There is the whoredom of Ephraim.
There's the whoredom of who?
There's the whoredom of Ephraim.
So we also see how the Most High God referenced what Israel with being Ephraim. Read on out.
Israel is defiled.
Israel is defiled. Jump over to chapter 7 and verse 1.
Hosea 7:1. When I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered.
They discovered. What was their iniquity, brothers? Idolatry. Read on.
And the wickedness of Samaria.
And the wickedness of Samaria. Another reference for what? Ephraim and Samaria. Read on up.
For they have committed, for they commit falsehood.
For they commit falsehood by what? Worshiping other gods and dealing with the other nations. Read on.
And the thief cometh in.
And the thief came in. We know who the thief is, man. Mainly Esau, but also making reference to the other nations. Read on.
And the thief cometh in, and the troop of robbers spoil it without.
Because the Most High God gave them up because they did what? Went into witchcraft and idolatry.
That's right, man.
Go ahead, Doc.
And that's a great precept. I'm glad I put it because this is what Christ's job was to do, to come back and put it back together. Because like we said, the woman in Samaria, she was like, hold on, we don't got dealings. You cut us off. On top of that, if you look at our past history, hey, we was at war with each other. The northern and southern kingdom was at war with each other before the split. Right? When you dealt with Saul and David. Hey, man, it's tough. But go back to Isaiah 11 and read verse 13.
And guess what? Guess what? It's hard not to think about history. He's talking about the split up. I know. That's why I was covered. I'm looking at this. He's talking about the split of the northern and southern kingdom. After Solomon died, it was a split in the kingdom.
Oh.
That's why I was watching the crowd. You like, you see what I'm saying? That's the real nigga had to come out for, right? Right? That's the split of the kingdom. When they split, the northern tribes said they wasn't coming to Jerusalem to do the feast days anymore.
That's
right? And after that, they started doing their own sacrifices. They keep the Levites out. And that's how they got Judah, Benjamin, Levite to be in. Y'all know this. They was, I guess, you probably had to go.
We'll touch it a little bit. We'll touch it a little bit. That's right. So even before the split, we were war with each other, man, the northern and the southern kingdom, man, right? But let's go to Isaiah and read verse 13.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 13.
Bring it out.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
The envy of Ephraim shall depart. This is what Christ, remember, this is what he's saying. When we read in verse 10, it said, that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. This is the prophecy of Christ coming to be what? Wedging us back together, right? And read verse 13.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
So it's there saying the envy that we had with Ephraim should depart. So how the woman at the well was telling Christ, y'all have no dealings with us. That's what Christ was finna let her know. Hey, you don't even know. We finna put this thing back together, woman. Right? Read.
And the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
So the adversaries of Judah will be cut off as well. Read.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah. And Judah shall not vex Ephraim. And
this is the wall of partition that the Most High God had to break. This is that wall of partition that the Most High, that Christ is coming to break. Because like I went into the Hosea, the Most High told us not to deal with them anymore, man. Let them alone, right? So now this is what Christ's job is to come back and break that wall of partition. Where we going, Abraham? Let's get our praise. Let's go to Ephesians 2:14. Remember the woman at the well, like, we don't deal with y'all. Christ had to break this, man. Start at 11, matter of fact.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verse 11.
Bring it out.
Wherefore remember that ye, being in times past, Gentiles in the flesh.
In times past, how was you were a Gentile, right? You can't be a so-called white man and now not be a so-called white man anymore. You can't do that, right? Can you be an Asian man, born an Asian man, but then come out of being an Asian man some point in time? No. You are an Asian man. This Gentile who's going into the nation of Israel, our people that had that Gentile state of mind over them. that went into idolatry, that took hold of the doctrine of the world, right? Read.
That ye being in time past, Gentiles in the flesh,
Read.
who are called uncircumcision, by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand.
Read.
That at that time you were without Christ.
At that time you were without Christ. At that time. Only for a moment were you without Christ. Other nations ain't never had Christ. You go to Romans 9:4, the glory of the Most High God, the work, the service of God, that was only for the Israelites. So when you see this Gentile, these key words right here, at that time, not forever, not for before, but at that time, right? Read.
Being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Being aliens. Who was aliens at this time? Who was going to? The northern kingdom, Samaria, right? Read.
And strangers.
And what?
And strangers.
And strangers. We went into that, right? What stranger was this at this time? Your nation. What's the precept? You were alienated at that time. You were strangers at that time. But you know it's two types of strangers. Leviticus what? Brother Lance, I see you. The Leviticus 25 and 35.
Damn, Lance, easy.
This was that brother, this was that stranger of your own people, right? It said when you were being aliens from the Commonwealth of Israel and strangers of the covenant of promise. Read.
Having no hope.
Having no hope. Read.
And without God in the world.
And without God. Remember, they weren't doing our God's deeds. They were doing what idolatry, like I went into Hosea. Right? Read up.
But now, in Mashiach, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Mashiach.
See, and that's what heathens love to talk about. That's the blood of Christ that we will say, no, you're not. It's not talking about y'all. This is talking about the northern kingdom coming back. He said, but now in Christ, right? This is what Christ's job was to do. Come back and bring us back to one fold, right? Read on.
4, verse 14. For he is our peace,
Uh-huh.
who has made both one.
He is our peace, who has made both one. Read.
And has broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
You see that? That's the middle wall of partition that Christ had to come break down. Remember, he said, Ephraim shall not vex Judah. Judah shall not vex Ephraim, because we were vexing each other. Right? This is what Christ's job was to do. Let's prove it. Let's go to 1 Samuel, man. Let's go to 2 Samuel. We were vexing each other, man. Let's get some accounts of how we were vexing each other, man. Way before the split, man. Remember, we read that in Genesis 49. What did he tell us? He said, y'all come together now. He said, so I can tell y'all what's going to befall y'all. Y'all brothers, this nation is going to be beefing with each other, and y'all going to have to come back together again. That's what Jacob was trying to tell him. Right? In Genesis 49. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 2. Now, we're going to start at 1. This is why Christ had to come be there and break that down, that wall of partition, man. Show some instances, man, of how we used to vex Ephraim and Judah used to vex each other.
Biggest one y'all should know is what? Saul and David.
The book of
Let's start at verse 1.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 2, verse 1. After this, that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into any of these cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, go up. And David said, whither shall I go up? And he said unto him.
No, my bad. I go to 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 1. Did I say 2 and 1? My bad. Start at 1. We're going to read down there too, but I want to start at 1. Shalom, family. 2 Samuel chapter 1, we're going to start at 1.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. It came even to pass on the 3rd day that behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. And so it was so So it was when he came to David that he fell to the earth and did obeisance.
And did obeisance, which means was respect. He failed to have respect for David, right? So Saul had just died, and then this man is coming to foretell David that Saul has been killed, right? And he came with respect. Read.
And David said unto him, from whence comest thou? And he said unto him, out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead.
Read.
And Saul and Jonathan, his son, are dead also.
So he's coming to tell David that Saul and Jonathan have died in this battle. Read.
And David said unto the young man that told him, how knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan, his son, be dead? And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called unto me. And I answered, here am I. And he said unto me, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite.
I am a who?
I am an Amalekite.
I am an Amalekite. Meaning he was what?
Esau.
This was a damn Edomite that came to David in respect and told him that Saul said, kill me, right? Because he was almost dead. Read.
He said unto me again, stand, I pray thee, upon me and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me.
Read.
So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen.
Man. Go ahead.
And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord.
So this man, this Edomite had the audacity to come and tell David that I killed Saul. I killed Saul. His own mouth is condemning him at this point right now, right? But watch this, read on.
Then David took hold of his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept, and fasted until evening for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, of Amalekite.
Now he said, I'm the son of a stranger. Now what stranger is this? The other nation stranger, right? What's the precept?
Ezekiel 40:7. Might be wrong.
I told you when we dealing with the stranger, I like to keep it right in that same Leviticus 25 and 45. It shows you that the strangers of the other nations, right? That you can have them for what? Servants, and put them in servitude. This was a stranger of the other nation, right? So I put Leviticus 25 and 45, but really I start at 39.
And stranger danger.
Yeah, stranger danger. So I start at 39 and go down to 45. So when that stranger right there is the stranger of the other nation, right? So he told him, I'm the son of an Amalekite. So he's the Edomite for real, right? He wasn't just in the land. He's the Edomite, right? Read.
Verse 14. And David said unto him, how was thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?
How was you not afraid to stretch forth your hand against the Lord's anointed? Remember, Saul was still anointed of the Most High God, man. To be our leader, man. He was a killer too. Saul was about there too, man. And he said, how was you not afraid to touch the Lord's anointed and kill him, man? Who got the precept for the Lord's anointed?
Leviticus 7:36.
That's one. What's another one? I like that anointed, but we want to see who exactly anointed is. Remember we told you.
Leviticus 7:36.
That's what he just said. That's the one that you want to go to, the first one you want to go to. And Leviticus 7:36, it shows you that the Lord anointed Israel, right? Then you can go to your Isaiah 61 and you can go to your Psalms 105.
Make sure every time we read and every time we break down scriptures, we always make sure that we give a reference point or a cultural context that we can have. This same story with this Edomite is talking about. He's talking about 1 Samuel chapter 31, right? So this same story, they was on Mount Gilboa, right? That was true. But you know how the other nations do, they got to put the truth in with the lie.
That's right.
Right? That's right. That's how you make their lives stand. Yeah. So the thing is, if y'all ain't trying to read it right now, but you want to go back to get the context of what he's going through in 2 Samuel chapter 1, that context is in 1 Samuel chapter 31, right? The whole story, and it gives you that context. Go ahead.
I'll pray.
Psalm 105 and what?
15. That's another precept for anointing.
And one thing I want y'all did catch on that, when it's talking about this guy, this Amalekite, when he spoke, and that's what a lot of things is going on in the earth today. They will lie to us to be hoping that we'll have mercy on them, have glory with them, or be cool with them, thinking we're gonna reward them for the lies that they're doing. And that's what they do to us today. They'll lie to us, hoping to be on our side and hoping that we don't turn on them and all these other things. And it's the same thing they've been doing. There's nothing different. Like you said, there's nothing new under the sun.
Big con on that, man, right? So they gonna be a lie. They gonna lie to you, right? So like I said, that's a great cross reference of 1 Samuel chapter 31 to go and read in there, man. So start at verse 15.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1, verse 15. And David called one of the young men and said, "Go near and fall upon him." And he smote him that he died.
Read.
And David said unto him, "Thy blood be upon thy head, for thy mouth hath testified against me, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed." So
you see how we do the other nations, man? Don't give a damn because you come and try to be all sweet talking. Yeah, man, I made it out, man. I came to tell you the song and Jonathan. They're like, you go get some praise for that or something. Right? The Lord said straight commandments, man. What to do to them? David said what? Go and kill his butt.
You did what?
You did what? Let me mourn right quick for my brother, right? It's a sad day. But then let me open up the conversation with you again. Where you at? He said, I'm right here. He said, where your father? He said, I'm at Amalekite. And you didn't have a problem touching Saul and killing Saul? Kill his butt, man. Right?
It's just like fighting somebody that's crying or something. They want to kill you.
For real. So you see that we don't deal with them like that in any instance, man. It don't matter because you try to come and be all sweet and peaceable. Nah, you get your head chopped out, man, messing with us, man. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Jump over to verse 24.
That's like if two brothers fighting each other, somebody else come in, the two brothers turn around and whoop that dude. What the heck you doing in this? You know what I'm saying? And that's how we're supposed to be with our national people. We need to come together when it's time for us to come together against those other nations. But no, what we see a lot of times, our people jump on the other team's side.
Jump to verse 24. Verse 24. Ye daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet.
Read.
With other delights, who put on ornaments of gold upon your apparel.
Read.
How the mighty fall in the midst of the battle. O Jonathan, thou wast slain in thine high place.
David had respect for Solomon, for Jonathan as well too, man. Man, for real, Jonathan was his boy, man. Jonathan went and told him, I'm gonna make a league with you, man. As long as I live, I ain't gonna let my daddy do nothing to you, man, right? So David was even though Saul was trying to kill David, David was still in the right spirits of his neighbor, his brother. That's the point you got to take out of that. Off the head with the Edomites, but I wasn't going to even get, nigga, I could have killed Saul. I didn't do it, so who the hell you think you ought to do it, right? What's wrong with you? But read 25 again.
Verse 25. How the mighty fallen in the midst of the battle. O Jonathan, thou was slain in thine high place.
Read.
I am distressed for thee. My brother Jonathan.
My what?
My brother Jonathan.
My brother Jonathan. You see that? Now Saul was from where? The northern kingdom, right? Maybe it's like Benjamin. But I'm sorry, but David was from where? But he still called him his brother, right? You see that? That's another precept that you can put with brother, man, which is going into your neighbor, your kinsman, right? So read that again.
I am distressed for thee, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant hast thou been unto me.
Read.
Thy love to me was wonderful. Passing the love of women.
Read.
How are the mighty fallen and the weapons of war perished.
He said the love that he had for Jonathan there was past the love of a woman, man. He loved Jonathan, man. Hey, you know, that's a, hey, that was real love because, like you said, Jonathan was Saul's son. You had never caught a son doing opposite of what their father was doing and come to another man and tell him, look, I'm gonna be on your side. I ain't gonna let my dad do nothing to you. That was some great love, man, for Jonathan, man.
I'm gonna tell you, man, that's the spirit too, because a lot of times growing up, you had friends, and that friend tell you not to like that friend because she don't like that friend.
That's right.
Or that brother don't like that brother because that brother don't like that brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the way we should be in Israel.
That's right,
sisters, man.
Exactly.
That's a wicked spirit to have, man. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times, brothers and sisters search out people to seduce by those types of spirit too. And brothers and sisters have to put on their discernment, man.
That's right.
Especially amongst sisters. That thing do run rapid amongst sisters. Brothers, we get along pretty good, man. That's a spirit that sisters deal with. Go ahead,
That's right. That's exactly right, man. So you see, these things you got to take up out of this, man. The context, right? I always stay in the spiritual realm of this thing and understand what's going on. So he had love for Jonathan and Saul, man, but more so for Jonathan, right? Read 27.
How are the mighty fallen and the weapons of war perished?
How are the mighty fallen? So he's whelping right now, man, right? He's in distress because his brothers is fast, right? And he said, how are the mighty fallen and the weapons of war perished? Because we the battle axes right now, right? They were battle axes physically, man. Like I said, Saul and Jonathan, they were killers, man, too. Don't get it twisted. He said, how are the weapons of war perished? Now we the battle axes, weapons of war, but what? But what we coming with? We coming with that word, that sword. That word is our sword now, right?
Watch this. I'm gonna show you how much love and kindness that King David had for Jonathan, right? Watch this. Go to 2 Samuel right quick, chapter 9. We're gonna jump down to verse 6. This is how much love, because like you said, King David, I'm talking about, he truly loved Jonathan, because Jonathan, man, really was, he really knew that Jonathan was after the Lord's heart too.
That's right.
But Jonathan couldn't go against his father, man. So, I mean, his father at war, he got to go to war too, man. Right? And this nation at war, he got to go to war too, right? So, 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 6, right quick.
Go to 2 Samuel chapter 9, verse 6.
Read.
Now, when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan.
So this is Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, right? Read.
The son of Saul.
Read.
Was coming to David.
He came unto David. Read.
He fell on his face.
So this is Saul. This is Jonathan's son came to King David after Jonathan was already dead and gone. Right? Read.
And did reverence. And David said, Mephibosheth. And he said, behold, thy servant. Verse 7. And David said unto him, fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake.
Right, read.
And will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father.
Read. And
thou shalt eat bread at my table continually.
You see that? He loved Jonathan that much that he said, Jonathan, he said that household gonna continually eat at my table, man. They can always eat at my table. Right? He said continually, man. So that's how much love he had for Jonathan, man, as a brother, man. He said, you know what, for you being who you are, I'm gonna let you eat at my table continue. That's real love for a brother, man. Right?
And feel some kind of way when he wasn't at the table.
That's right. Let's jump down to 2 Samuel chapter 2 and start at verse 5. Because now David is made king, right? After Saul is died, now David is made king. Second Samuel chapter 2, start at verse 5.
Book of 2 Samuel chapter 2, verse 5. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord show kindness and truth unto you. And I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing.
Read.
Therefore, now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them.
So you see, David was anointed king over Judah, right? Read.
And he made him king over Gilead, and over the Ephraim, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over
Hold on,
all.
read where you jump verse 8.
Oh, it's like, my bad. Verse 8. But after the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Jerubbaal, the son of Saul, and brought him over unto Mahanaim.
So Abner was a soldier of Saul, right? The captain of Saul's host. And he took Ishmael, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, right? Read.
And he made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherite, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim.
And over who?
And over Ephraim.
Read.
And over Benjamin. And over all Israel.
So he made Ishmael captain over Israel, right? Over Ephraim, Benjamin, and over all Israel, right? Which Saul had. Read.
Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel. And he reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David.
But David was made king over Judah. Saul was our first king, right, over everybody. But then David was made king over Judah, and Ishmael, Saul's son, went and started reigning for Saul instead for the northern kingdom, right? Read on.
In the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months.
So David was king over Judah for 7 years and 6 months. Read on.
And the son of Ner and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out unto Mahanaim to Gibeah. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the people of Gibeah.
By the pool?
By the pool of Gibeah. And they sat down, the one on the side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool.
So he said, Abner's host and Joab's host, they came and sat down on the side of the pool, on the other sides of the pool, right? Read.
And Abner said to Joab, let the young man now arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise.
So he said, let the young men arise and play before us, right? And he said, let them arise. Read.
Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul.
So there were 12 of Benjamin that went, right? And what?
And 12 of the servants of David.
And 12 of the southern kingdom, right? Read.
And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side.
Read on.
So they fell down together. Wherefore that place was called Capt Hazarim, which is in Gibeah.
Read on.
And there was a very sore battle that day.
You see that? It was a very sore battle that day, right? Now, again, like we said, the topic is going into the northern and the southern kingdom, what? Always having beef, man. Right? So it was a very sore battle that day. Read.
And Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel, before the servants of David.
So David's servants won that battle that day, right? They were always battling, man, warring each other, right? Read.
And there were three sons of Zeruiah. There, Joab, and Abishai, and Asael.
Yep.
And Asael was a light on foot as a wild roe.
So this Ashael was light as a wild roe, man. I mean, that boy was quick. Right? Read.
And Asael pursued after Abner. And what did it say?
And in going,
he turned not to the right hand, nor to the left, following Abner.
So right after they had the war and Abner and his host lost to David, now Asahel, the son of Joab, now he's coming and he's still going to fall after Abner, right? Read.
And Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left.
Read.
And lay thee hold on one of the young men and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside, following of him.
Asahel wouldn't stop. Remember, he was light as a roe, so he was on his tail. Wherever he went, he there. Abner trying to tell him, look, man, let me make it, man. Right? Let me make it, bro. Y'all already defeated us in this battle. Let me make it, bro. Read.
And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab, thy brother?
So Abner was like, look, bro, if I hit you with this sword, bro, I have to kill you. I don't know how I'm gonna tell it to your brother, to your father, man. Right? And to my brother, which is your father, Joab. I don't know how I'm gonna tell him. Let me make it, man. Read on.
Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner, with the hinder end of the spear, smote him under the fifth rib.
Hit him under the fifth rib, man. Told him to stop. Right? Read.
That the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died.
So they say the spirit went all the way through him, man. Tell you, man, there was a lot of killing going on back then, man, between the northern and the southern kingdom, man. I'm telling y'all, man. And it was a lot of get back too. They get back of what? A month. They said it's a month. Say, let's see some get back to in this thing, man. That's why the Most High had to come back and send Christ, man, to break down the wall and partition. Read.
And died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died, stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they would come to the hill of Ammah that lies before Gia by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon.
So his other two brothers went and followed after Abner too. After Asahel went after Abner and got killed. Now his other two brothers still trying to go after Abner and kill him now, right? But they finna call a truce. Read.
And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner and became one troop and stood on the top of a hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then? Ye, is that ye or your, that bid the people return from following their brethren.
Now remember again, Abner was the captain of the host of Saul's tribe, right? Of Saul's people. Joab was of the southern kingdom with David, man. I mean, of David with Judah. So now they want to call a truce, right? They've been killing each other. But Joab got his son killed by Abner, but now Joab and Abner saying, how long we gonna keep fighting each other, man? Right? Read.
And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, everyone from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more. Neither fought they anymore. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain and passed over Jordan and went through all Bethron. And they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner. And when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servant 19 men.
What?
19 men.
So David lost how many men in the battle? He lost 19 men. They lacked 19 men that they lost in this battle. Read.
And I said, but the servants.
So in total 20 with Isaiah, right? Joab's son, right? So total 20. Read.
But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and of Abner's men, so that 360 men died.
You see that? You see how David was strengthening, getting stronger and stronger at this time? And they were weakening and getting weakened off. David killed 300 of their men, man, and only lost 20. You see that?
360 is how many?
660.
360 men.
360 to 20. What that boy Vaughn said, let's check the score. It's 6 to 24. It's 360 to 20. Say, man, it was war going on back then, man.
I would have called it off too, man. They studied like, hey. They ain't letting up.
That's right. I'm going to jump down to verse 3.
Just tell you leave them alone, man.
Yeah, let them make it. That's right. Read verse 3. Chapter 3, verse 1.
Chapter 3, verse 1. Now there was long war between the house of Saul and the house of David.
You see that? It was long war, man, between the house of Saul and the house of David, between Judah and Ephraim, and between Judah and Benjamin, between the north and the southern, basically, man, right? And it's before the split, right? This is about 1000 BC when David started reigning and reigning over Judah, right? Then you get into like 900 where the split of the kingdom happened. Then you get into like 720 where the Syrians take over. But this is just time frame to showing you how things were predicated and kept going in this aspect. But it said it was long war between David and Saul, right? Read on.
In the house of David. But David waxed stronger and stronger. And the house of Saul waxed weaker and weaker.
But you see that? But David was what? A man after the Lord's heart. He was doing right in the sight of the Most High God. Saul was what? Had some wickedness in him, right? So think about it. That's why his count was losing, right? Because what? Let's go to Proverbs 29 and 12. I can ask about this precept the other day. Saul had some faultiness in his leading, man. And if Saul was wicked, then what? Had some wickedness in what? His people had some wickedness in them, right? That's why David was waxing stronger and stronger at that time. And Saul and his company was waxing weaker and weaker. Read this.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 12. If a ruler hearkens to lie, all his servants are wicked.
All of his servants are wicked. That's why David was waxing stronger and stronger, and Saul was getting weaker and weaker because his servants were wicked, man. They were following after Saul's wicked leadership, right? So you want to make sure you ain't after no faulty, janky leadership, man, or you'll be that same predicament, man, losing. Let's go to Luke, man, chapter 10. Now let's go to it. So you see, war. A lot of war between Ephraim, a lot of war between Judah, a lot of that's that wall of partition that Christ coming to break down, man. He had to. Like I said, way before the split, man, we were warned, man. That's what we do. We were a nation of warriors, man. That's exactly what we were. Yeah, very tough. Let's go to Luke chapter 10 and start at 20. Luke 10 and where we gonna start? Let's start at 25, man.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 25.
Bring it up.
And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?
He said a certain lawyer tempted Christ and asked him, Master, what should I do to have eternal life? Now, that's how you know he tempted him, because let's read verse 26.
And he said unto him, what is written in the law? How readest thou?
He said, what is written in the law? Have you read the law? You know what to do. That's why he said he tempted Christ, right? Because the Lord, let's go to Romans chapter 7. 7 and 1. Because he knows what to do, man. He knows what's going on, but he's trying to tempt Christ, right? They always try to catch up Christ, see if he's going to answer and say something different or something, right? The same thing I gave you then, the same thing I'm going to give you now, right? And what did he tell him? Keep the commandment. You know, like Matthew 19:16, what did he say? If thou will enter into life, do what? Keep the commandments. Let's go to Romans 7:1.
The book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 1.
Bring it out.
Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
He do what?
I speak to them that know the law.
This brother knew the law, man. That's why he was trying to tempt Christ, trying to piss him off, man. Because he was talking to them that knew the law. They knew the law. Because when Christ answered them and said, what is written in the law? How readest thou? You ain't read it? That's basically saying what? You ain't read it? Have you not read your book? Do you not know what's in the law? How readest thou? Read.
For know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth. As
long as he liveth. So he was trying to catch Christ up and be kind of tricky, right? With this thing, because he knew the law. Jump back to Luke 10 and 26.
Real quick, dog, what's a precept for Romans 7:1? I can see brothers.
Ezekiel 11:15.
Brother Daoud.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we're gonna ask you a precept you don't know.
What you got,
Ezekiel 11:15.
Not tipping up.
That's what I said to do.
That's what I was thinking.
Was you really?
Yeah.
Twin, what you got, man? Because what's the context of Romans 7:1? I was seeing, because I can see brothers over here just. What's the context on how the law is not done away with? So you want to bring up precepts with them. I know we kind of went over that. What you got right there, twin? If you don't got nothing,
I don't got nothing right there.
what you got, Ehud? Damn. So I'm gonna tell you, man, if damn brother Bam had that precept, say, bro, what you got, brother King Judah?
Man, y'all brothers ain't got no precept to Romans 7:1.
You got one.
It's too late.
It's too late, man. No.
A precept. What you got, brother?
From the back.
Baruch 4:1. Just easy precept. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 36. Brothers got to get up on that, man. Y'all see where y'all slacking at. Y'all slacking on not paying attention and not writing precepts in your Bible, man.
If y'all look, and then you know what's crazy about it? Y'all literally sit here, we sit here in front of everybody, and guess what? Y'all watch us write in our Bible. We up to y'all literally
No,
watch.
I just wrote down what's the name.
And y'all brothers going to Camp 101, y'all ain't got the precept of Romans 7:1, man. Shame on y'all, man.
For real. It's a
Like, for
problem.
real, man.
Go ahead.
2nd Ezra 9 and 36.
I know I was a real kite, like, yeah, call me.
9 and 36. 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 36.
Let's go back to Luke 10 and 26. Because he tried to be tricky and ask him, well, what should I do? And Christ asked him what? What's in the law?
Right.
And you ain't read it, right? How read it now? You ain't read it?
Because remember, he's a lawyer. He should be a doctor of the law.
Come on, man.
That's what lawyers were. They understood the law.
That's right. And that's exactly why Christ had to answer him like that.
That's right.
Right? And that's why Christ had to be austere with these people too, man.
That's right.
Can't keep playing with them, man. All right, go to that Matthew, man, right quick. Matthew 7. Matthew 7 and 28.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 7, verse 28. And it came to pass when Yahushua had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine. For he taught them as one having authority.
Read.
And not as the scribes.
So Christ had to give it to him as one having authority, man. Because they try to catch him up, try to play games with him. That's why he had to speak with authority on these people, man. Stop playing with me, Lord. Stop playing with me. Pharisee. You don't read the Bible? You should know what it is, right? So that's why Christ had to talk to him like that. Go to Luke 10 and 27.
And because guess what? Our people tried. It wasn't just the heathens trying to catch Christ up. It was our people trying to catch Christ up in every kind of way.
For real.
Because why? They didn't believe the report, right? That was prophesied in Isaiah chapter 53, man, when you read verse 1 all the way down.
That's right.
That they not going to believe the report, man. The same thing is talking about in 1 John, man. Came to his own and all received him not. But guess what? You'll see Christians, they'll use that. And, well, we can be saved because he came to his own and y'all didn't receive him. Fool, that ain't, the prophecy is prophecy.
That's right.
All right.
Luke 10 and 27.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 27. And he answered, said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God.
So Christ asked him, have you read the law? And he answered and said, yeah, okay, read.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul,
read.
And with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself.
What? Anybody got a precept right there? Thou shalt love the Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy strength, with all thy mind.
Leviticus 19 and 18.
Leviticus 19 and 18 is one. Let's get that. That's one. Let's just start at 17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. You see that? Read.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
I am the Lord. So this is one thing, one understanding of the law you're giving him. I read the Bible, I know what it's saying. Thou shalt love thy neighbor, right? That's one. Go to Deuteronomy 6 and 5. Remember, Christ taught from the law, man. So when you see these things, you should be able to see it out of the law, man. Word for word, too. Deuteronomy 6 and 5.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 5.
Bring it out.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul,
read.
And with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart.
So y'all see that? Basically saying the same thing, man. Love the Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might, right? Saying the same thing in Deuteronomy 10 and 12 to the requirements, man, right? Let's go back to Luke. Matter of fact, let's go to Matthew 22 and 37. Because this is what Christians love to bring up too with this, man. They love to bring this up. This is all you got to do. This is all you got to do. Love your neighbor, love God, love your neighbor. No other words, right? And they don't do that either. Talk about Sister Betty in the front with that big hat on. Whole service.
Can we read? Can you jump up 29, then jump back down 37 right quick?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 22, verse 29. Yahushua answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God.
And that makes it plain, right? This is why Why you think Christ, when he was cutting them, man, he said, man, look, y'all do err not knowing the scriptures, man. So guess what? Even in every aspect of whatever we go in the Bible, they're gonna always be an error there, man. Because why? It's plain to the holy, but what? Precept did.
Precept me out.
Precept me out. Come on, brother Fred.
What you say, brother Jonathan? No, my bad.
What you got, brother Fred? You called out a lot of precepts. I know. Go ahead.
Sirach 39 and 24.
All praise, brother.
Y'all make sure y'all write that down.
Brother Lance been gone.
That's what I'm talking about.
Been gone, but came back strong.
Yeah.
All right.
Too late, man. Too late.
Let's go to Matthew 22 and 37.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 22, verse 37. Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
Read.
This is the first and great commandment.
So if you love the Lord with all your heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, what are you keeping? All the law, right? If you're loving the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind, you're keeping the dietary law. You're keeping the civil law. You're keeping the ceremonial laws. If you love the Lord with all your heart and all your mind, right? Read on.
This is the first and great commandment.
And
the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So if you're loving your neighbor as yourself, what law aspect of the law are you keeping? What sector of the law are you keeping if you're loving your neighbor as yourself? Moral. How many sectors of laws are there? 5. Which one was done away with? Sacrificial. So if you're loving the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, you're keeping the civil. You're keeping the dietary. You're keeping the ceremonial laws. Then he said the second is like unto this, that you love your neighbor as thyself. If you love your neighbor, you're keeping what? The moral law. You're keeping the whole law.
So, brothers should be writing on Matthew 22 and 37. Brothers should have John 14 and 15. Exactly. That should be the precept right beside it.
That's right.
I'm going to read it real quick. It said, if ye love me, keep my commandments.
That's right.
That's simple. If you love in the Lord, John chapter 14, verse 15, the Lord say it plain, if you love me, you should keep my commandments. That's simple,
right.
Man.
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So the first great commandment, man, I got the dietary, civil, and ceremonial law. Because if you love the Lord with all your heart, you're doing all the commandments. And then with 39, with loving your neighbors yourself, I got the moral law. Because that's the moral law that he gave us. To love our neighbors ourselves, right? Read verse 40.
Verse 40. On these 2 commandments hang all the law.
Read that again.
On these 2 commandments hang all the law.
On these two commandments hang all the sectors of the law.
Now he said, stop doing the law. That's what he said. Stop doing the law. On these 2 commandments, stop doing the law. I mean, you got to be out of your mind, right? That's madness. My bad.
It is.
Every time I read this just take over my mind.
It is.
To see them say, well, he said, hang the law. So where did it say stop doing the law? Where did it say on these 2 commandments, stop doing the law? That's total madness, man. Nowhere that you find Christ, he told us to stop doing God's law.
That's right.
Right? You can't find no scriptures in it, man. Hey, we challenge them, man. We challenge any Bible scholar to show us what Christ said, stop doing God's law.
Go to Romans 13 and 8. They love to bring this precept too. Well, let's see what if you just keep reading what the precept says, man. If you just keep reading Romans 13 and 8.
The Book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 8.
Bring it up.
Owe no man anything, but to love one another.
Uh-huh.
For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
It said, owe no man anything but to love one another. He that loveth has fulfilled the law. That's all you got to do, right? Let's keep reading.
Verse 9. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery.
This is a part of what he's saying. For this, these are the things that you should not be doing in order to fulfill the law. Do not commit adultery. Read.
Thou shalt not kill.
You can't kill. Read.
Thou shalt not steal.
You can't steal. Read.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
You cannot bear false witness. Read.
Thou shalt not covet.
Uh-huh.
And if there be any other commandment.
Come on, man. Come on, man. They love to run to this. You fulfill the law by loving your brother. Just keep reading, man. If there be what?
Any other commandment.
Any other what?
Commandment.
Read, man.
It is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Because again, going into it, that's any other commandment going into it, your moral duties of the law.
And the thing is simple. Even like how he said, he literally gave an understanding, abbreviate, meaning instead of saying all 613, all you have to do is say, love the Lord thy God with all your heart.
That's it.
That's the point. Do brothers understand that? He couldn't literally say that. It looked like what you look like in a conversation named all
613.
It's simple as hell, man. That's you just abbreviate. So when you read and hear that abbreviation, you know all the law.
I see a lot of y'all right now in the thing, huh? It ain't 3 o'clock. We did a lot of reading, and y'all like,
I gotta shake that spirit. It's just spirit, man.
drool all the drool.
Don't pay attention.
All right. So you see that's what he's saying. Go back to Luke 10 and 27. So the lawyer knows these things, right? He's saying it. But we had to give him a little understanding on that thing, man.
Book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 27.
Bring it out.
And he answered, said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself.
Keeping the whole law. That's what he's saying, right? Read.
And he said unto him, thou hast answered right.
Thou hast answered what?
Thou hast answered right.
Read.
This do, and thou shalt live.
Somebody give me a precept for thou hast answered right. What is right? How do you answer right? What is the right answer? Don't look up in the sky, Brother Abraham.
Man, come on, Camp 101 Warriors.
Key word is what?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Come on, Fred. Eagle.
6, 17, and 18.
All three.
That's right. Give me another one.
Come on, Abraham, what you got?
Well, I'm really thinking of good. You said Proverbs 4 and 2? Yeah. That's a good doctrine. But I was really thinking good too. Going to the same thing, but like I said, man, right? Let's get let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 19 because it says, this do and thou shalt live, right? We know the precept for that. This do and thou shalt live.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you,
Read.
that I've set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life.
You said, therefore, do what?
Therefore, choose
So it's the open book text. It's straight commandments. Going back into what we went into. Straight commandments. Read.
Therefore, choose life,
Read.
that both thou and thy seed may live.
That thou and thy seed may what?
May live.
So this is what the Lord was saying, man. Look, keep the commandments. He said, yeah, you answered right. Do that and live, because that's what's gonna what? Prosper you in this word. If you start coming back and doing these commandments, man, you'll start getting prospered, man. You'll start getting what? Preserved by the Most High God, right? He'll start being able to use you more and more, right? Go back to Luke. Matter of fact, let's get one more precept. Let's go to 2nd Edges. 7 and 59. Oh, praise. 2nd Edges 7 and 59.
The book of 2nd Edges, chapter 7, verse 59. For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived.
This is the life that Moses spake into the people, right? Going into the same thing. He said, I set before you what? Before you life and death. This is a precept for that Deuteronomy 30 and 19. Read this again.
For this, the book of 2nd Edges, chapter 7, verse 59. For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life that thou mayest live.
Choose the commandments that thou mayest live. This is the precept to Deuteronomy 30 and 19, right? This is the life that he was talking about. Let's go back to Luke. So when he said thou answer right, do this, and thou shalt live, that live is going into what? Living with the commandments, man. Being blessed by keeping the commandments. Go to Luke 10 and 29. Yeah.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 29. But he willingly, to justify himself, said unto Yahushua, and who is my neighbor?
You see that? That's a good question, though. That's a question that we gotta ask. That's a question that you should be asking. Who is your neighbor? Who is your neighbor? What's the precept? We already know. We called it out earlier. That's right. Leviticus 19, man. Your neighbor is your brother. What's another one?
Ezekiel 11 and 14.
That's Ezekiel 11 and 14, man. Let's get that one right quick. Man, for real, no, that's the one I really want. Leviticus 11, Ezekiel 11 and 14.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 11, verse 14. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel, holy are they. Unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get ye far from the Lord, unto us in this land given in possession.
So you see your neighbor, your brother. That's why you pull both of them, right? That's why you pull the Leviticus 19, show your brother, then you'll pull the neighbor, and you'll go to Ezekiel 11 and 14, put them together, right? So go back to Luke 29, 10 and 29.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 10, verse 29 from the top. But he willing to justify himself, said unto Yahushua, and who is my neighbor? And Yahushua answered, said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead.
So Jerusalem, if we pulled up that map, you pull that map up again out. Say he went from Jerusalem to Jericho. Jerusalem is by Judah. It's close to Judah and Benjamin. We can get a map. And then he said he went from Jerusalem to Jericho. Jericho is around the border of what? Ephraim. Well, we really get Manasseh, so same thing. Gad and Manasseh. Map of the 12 tribes. Just to show y'all right quick where the understanding of where it's going from, where he was saying the man was coming from. So he said he came from Jerusalem to Jericho. Do that one got
Right here.
Jerusalem right there?
Jericho, Jerusalem.
Well, you see Gad is on the other side. Gad and Manasseh borders Jericho. You see how far Manasseh come down? Going into the northern kingdom, right? But you see where Judah is close from Jerusalem. So he was coming from Jerusalem and went up to Jericho around right where you would probably jump into what? Manasseh. Going into the northern kingdom, right, of this thing. So you see this? You see where Jerusalem and Jericho is? This to show you how he went up a little bit. That's all I want. Read this 30 again.
Verse 30 from the top. And Yahweh answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead.
So this brother got jaded, man. That's the words that we say. This brother got jaded. He fell upon thieves. They jaded and jacked him, man. They jaded him. They took his clothes. Sound like Israel to me.
For real.
Sound just like Israel to me. Covetousness. This brother must have had some nice clothes on, but they took him. Beat him up and everything. Read 30 again, 30 again.
Verse 30. And Yahweh answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead.
And they left the brother half dead. They beat the brother up. I done seen this before in real life, man. Really done seen this before. Brothers get left for dead, man, after they got jaded and jacked, man. Right? And then, like I said, the point of this is going into what? Our kingdom, man. This where he was walking around in our kingdom. This ain't going into no other nations outside of us. But read 31.
And by chance, there came down a certain priest that way. And when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And
there was a certain priest that passed by him on the other side. Now, who were the priests? At this time, so they were brothers, right? So that was his brother that seen him in that decayed state. And what did he do? He passed by him, man. Read.
And likewise, a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side.
And another Levite came and what? His brother, right? Came and did the same thing. Seen the brother in the decayed state and what? Passed by him. Read.
But a certain Samaritan. Now remember, at this time, the Samaritans didn't have no dealings with the Jews, right? And this ain't going into a so-called white man or so-called Asian man that saw this dude and helped him out. The Samaritan is going into what? Our northern kingdom brother, right? But a Samaritan, this is the whole point of the parable that Christ is letting them know. I'm coming to put this thing back together, man. Right? It was just so happened that his own brothers didn't help him, but now a good Samaritan, is going to come and help him. Read this. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him.
He had what?
He had compassion on him.
Read.
And went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast. And what? And brought him to an inn and took care of him.
So he put him on what? An ass or a donkey or something. And went with him and walked him to the inn, right? Read, take care of this brother, man. Read.
And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, take care of it. And whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay you.
Well, boy, do that sound like us? Boy, write a note on that brother. Say, hey, man, like I left you 85 pence. This is my address. I need you to return that, brother. So the lady at the end, let me know when he leaves, when he get better. All right, that's how we do it. Read. Go ahead, Al.
So what is, out of the Old Testament, what does this sound like? I'm talking about law. I'm gonna help you out. What does that sound like? Leviticus 25 and 35. When your brother is falling, waxing poor, or falling on, or is falling into whatever.
That's right.
Decay, right? This is exactly what this sounds like to me, right? This is how. Guess what? When you're doing class, like how it's setting up. This is to help you put an example. If you want to break down Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35, you should have this in there. Put this example right beside this mug. Right? This is to help you further along in your class, right? Go ahead.
Let me get a precept right quick. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 11. 2 and verse 14.
Romans chapter 2, verse 14.
Because Christians love to pull this one as well. But if you don't have any historical, cultural contexts behind it, you won't understand it. Romans chapter 2 and verse 14.
The book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 14. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law.
Hold up right there. Remember, you want to put that in retrospect of what we going over. What is the topic of what we going over? What Ak is going over? The Samaritans. How they was what? Separated from Israel. But this Samaritan brother still did what? He still helped. Meaning he still did what? Kept the law.
Kept the law.
This is the true understanding of Romans chapter 2, verse 14. Read verse 14 again.
Verse 14 from the top. For when the Gentiles...
hold on. But when the Gentiles going into what? The northern tribe, read on.
Which have not the law.
They didn't have the law because guess what? They was cast off.
That's right.
Judah, Benjamin, and Levi had the law. We had the temple, we were sacrificing. So we was good. They didn't have the law. Read on up.
Do by nature.
They did by nature, read on.
The things contained in the law.
And that's why we have the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan.
That's
because
right.
He was actually doing the things that was contained in the law by nature.
Yeah, let's go.
Read on up.
Or a law. So like these having not the law, or a law unto themselves.
These having not the law, a law unto themselves, meaning what? They naturally knew how to do what? Love their brother in this instance. Do brothers and sisters understand that? Is that it on that? Go ahead, Doc.
Big cut on that. It said by nature, man, because that's what people we were, man. By nature, man. We were by nature those people, man, that care for each other, man. We got to get back to having that, man.
That's right.
We got to get back to that understanding, man. We got to start putting that in this world again, man, and start caring about each other, man. Nowadays, you try to tell somebody about themselves, what you worried about it for? What this ain't got nothing to do to you, but in fact, it really does. Because you are my brother. I am my brother's keeper, man. You are my sister, man. And that child of yours is going down the wrong way. It takes a village, man. This is the understanding we got to get back to. Read this again in Luke 10 and 20, 30, 10 and 30, 35.
The book of St. Luke 35.
Read.
And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, take care of it. And whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay you.
Say, man, I'm telling you. Boy, you can't find that, boy. I'm going to give you this, then whatever else I owe you that you spend, I'm going to give you that too. Man, you can't find that, man. That's some real love right there. That's the love of your neighbor right there, man. Read.
Verse 36, which now these three thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves.
Uh-huh.
And he said, he that showed mercy on him. Then said Yahushua unto him, go and do thou likewise.
And that's what we got to do, Israel. We got to go do likewise, man. Because even though we try to say, yeah, that's my sister or my brother, is your actions lining up with that's my sister, that's my brother? When your sister call, are you there for your sister? When your brother in distress, are you there for your brother? Right? That's what we got to do. He said, do likewise. See, Christians will love to take that and think that, oh, the dude that outside of Israel helped him. No, that was our own brother. By nature, they did that because that's what kind of people we are, man. Right? That's the point of the class, man. We are a different set of people. We are not to be helping other nations to gain or get any gain off of us, man. We keep the laws of the nation together, man. Frugal effect, for us, by us. Get into this last thing, Deuteronomy 4 and 32. Because the question is, have the Lord ever dealt with any other nation like that, like he dealt with us? I remember Jerubbaal pulled this precept, man, about a month ago in one of his classes. I was struck. I was like, say, man, that thing hit hard, man. The Lord ain't never dealt with another nation like this. So why other nations think that the Lord dealing with them like that now is dumbfounded, man. They try to go and find things out the Bible, like the Samaritan woman or the well or the Good Samaritan, and think that, oh, that's us.
Romans 11.
Yeah, we're the Good Samaritan. We're just trying to help you brothers out, brother. There you go. I'm going to give you 12 hours of work. Know you need it. Yeah, we really don't. So we need to see our family, man.
We don't need it.
Don't need no 12 hours, man. We don't need no hours of work.
Well, what's our favorite line on the phone? We want that money, but we don't want that time.
Want that money, but I don't want that time. Deuteronomy 4 and 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 32.
Uh-huh.
For as now the days that are past, which were before thee.
How do you ask the days past? Huh? How do you ask the days past? Remember the days of old? Whatever. I'm not really looking for a precept, but that's a precept, good one. Romans 15 and 4. But how do you ask the days of old? One word. It's not hard. It's simple.
You start with H.
History.
History. Now I want the R word. Read. Damn.
Read the history.
Read the history. That's right, man. Put it together. Read. Hey.
I just look over it now.
How do you ask the days of the past? You go and read the history of the Bible, man. You go and read the Bible. Ask your forefathers. They'll tell you. Go read them. Right? Read.
For as now the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that God created man upon earth, and has from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there has been any such thing as this great thing, is, or has been heard like it.
Is there haven't been any great thing like it, or anything that's been heard of the Lord dealing with any other nation like this? Go ahead.
Did ever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire?
Did have a heathen ever did this? Have the Lord ever dealt with a heathen like this? Huh? For real. But had this happened in any other nation of people, man?
And then, you know, Edomites, they be on TV, TBN and all that. They lips be quivering. And God spoke to me. They be having so much passion, boy. They'll sell a Negro down the river, boy. You look at my tears that come out your eye, man. And you in the truth. You like, dang, did he get me a little bit? Well, I'm trying to tell you. $2,000. And they act, and guess what? And they truly act like like God speaking with them, man. Like he's supping with them people, man, or something, man. God breaking bread with them. No, man.
For real.
Esau, you better, I'm gonna point the camera. Esau, you better stop playing, man.
You better stop playing.
For real, man.
Go to First Maccabees, man, chapter 2. Start at 51, man. Have the Lord ever dealt with any other nation how he dealt with our forefathers, man, like this, man? We just read it down, man.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 51. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall we receive great honor and everlasting name.
So we got to call to remembrance these great acts that were done to our fathers, man. These great acts was never done to another nation. So why another nation try to put themselves in it? It doesn't make any sense, man. Right? Read on. Let's see.
Was not Abraham?
Who?
Was not Abraham
found
faithful in temptation and was imputed unto him for righteousness?
Was he not found faithful in this temptation? Yeah. You can't read it? Oh, no, temptation.
That's the same word.
Give me the new reader. Right? Read on.
And was imputed unto him for righteousness. Joseph in the time.
Hold on. That's Genesis chapter 22, verse 14 through 18.
Or you can put Hebrews 11 and 17 right there, too.
Imputed.
Because y'all gotta think about it. What I've been breaking down is going back to the history. He talking about as God dealt with any other nation, man. Right? Is he dealing with any nation? So guess what? Now he's bringing down the history to see where in has God dealing with these people, right?
Boy, you on point. Where?
It started from the bloodline.
From the bloodline. Start from Abraham. From the bloodline. Right?
Even in retrospect of that, brothers, y'all pay attention. Because the topic is what? What is the topic that Ak is going over?
Good Samaritan.
No, on this specific point.
Not dealing with no.
So what should brothers be thinking about? Precepts that pertain to that.
That's right, man.
That's exactly right.
That's
Other
right.
precepts as well.
That's right.
Just put that in that spirit.
Not that one, but I know y'all, man, Joel, we stopped using that. 27, yeah. What? Joel 2 and 27.
Yeah, Amos 3 and 1 and 2. Yeah, we ain't pulled it in a while, man. Count one of us, Capt, they got to pull this. Joel 2 and 27.
Back to the base.
Yeah.
Psalm 119 and 1 he just came out.
Yeah.
147 and 19. I mean, we sit them all the time, boy.
We sure did. Well, that
I
was.
just love that Joel 2 and 27 because that makes it just funny.
You
The only
do.
way they try to explain it back is you can hear la in order to try to like
I don't know. Yeah. Isaiah 1.
As his master crib.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, brothers. All right. Saving for the streets.
Yes, actually, my question is how room get quiet.
For real. Let's go back to First Maccabees 1 and 2 and 52.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 53.
Yeah, start at 52 again.
Verse 52. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation and was imputed unto him
So-
for righteousness?
That wasn't no heathens. Read.
Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt.
That wasn't no heathen. When did that happen? Put Genesis 39 and 13 right there, man. Because when did that happen, brother? What was the story on Joseph right there?
Yeah, the woman wanted him when he didn't want her, so she lied on him.
That's right. He was pulled into a house. They took care of him, right?
Yeah.
And the woman tried to sleep with Joseph, but Joseph didn't sleep with her. And she told her husband that he had tried to sleep with her.
Right? And then guess what?
He went to jail, but then they needed somebody to interpret a dream. And you got the butler and the baker who yeah.
And that goes into, like you say, Genesis 39:13.
Yeah,
Genesis 41, verse 41 through 45.
that's right.
All these go into that.
That's right.
Think about history. We going through history. We see if the Lord dealing with anybody.
That's right. Still haven't dealt with them. Read on.
Verse 54. Phineas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood.
Phineas, Numbers 25, 7 through 12. Read about that. That's our brother, man, right?
Verse 55. Joshua, Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel.
So who was that? Joshua, right? So that was Joshua. For fulfilling the word was made a judge in Israel. Joshua was made that judge, man. Deuteronomy 31, man. Starting at 14. And Joshua chapter 1. That's right. I still don't see no heathen nation that the Lord done dealt with in this type of fashion. Read on.
Capt, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land.
No Edomite. Read.
David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom.
Still ain't seen no Edomite. Read.
This 2 Samuel 7.
Same bloodline.
Same bloodline.
Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven.
Matthew 17. 2 Kings, Matthew 17 and 10. Elias being taken up. Read.
Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael.
Azarias and Mishael. Who was that?
The three brothers thrown into the fire furnace.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Read that again.
Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, by believing, were saved out of the flame.
They were what? Believing by saved out of the flame. The Most High was saved Edomite out the damn flame? Nah, they gonna burn, baby, burn. Right? And Daniel 3 and 19, man. Read on.
Daniel, for his innocence.
Incontinency. Innocent. I was right.
Oh, you?
Nah, I was wrong. Man.
Verse 60 from the top.
Yeah.
Daniel, for his innocence, was delivered from the mouth of lions.
And Daniel was delivered from the mouth of the lions. Man, the lions did, man. Right? Daniel 6 and 16. But just to show you, all the glory of our forefathers, the history, never results back into the Lord dealing with these other nations in any kind of way like that. So why for them to think the day that the Lord is dealing with them like that, it makes no sense, man. So when they try to go into these Good Samaritan and all these different scriptures, we should be able to combat them, right? So if they try to hit you with what about the Good Samaritan? The Good Samaritan was the Israelite. Yeah. What about John 3:16? Yeah, we got that too. What about this? What about Ephesians? What? We should be able to combat them with every point, right? And that's what this is about. Go back to Deuteronomy 4.
Read 61.
You want to read that?
It's 61 that goes right into what you just said.
Okay.
What you just said.
Verse 61. And thus considered throughout all ages.
Well, all the history.
Throughout the history, that's right. Big con on that.
That none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
None that put their trust in the Lord was overcome, man. Right? No other nation was like this, man. But if we put our trust in the Lord, we will not be overcome. We will be preserved on the Most High God, man, right? And when you preserve, you get what? You get better with age. You get older and better, right? We like to talk about age as being bad, but man, sometimes age is a good thing for us, man. But you get preserved. The Lord is using you. You've been through a lot of battles, right? You battle tested, right? So go do Deuteronomy. Back to Deuteronomy 4. And let's start at 32 again. We'll read down to get out of here.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 32. For as now the days that are past, which were before, since the day that God created man upon the earth.
Since the beginning of time, man, read.
It has from the one side of heaven unto the other, whether there has been any such thing as this great thing is, or has been heard like it.
Did the Lord come and produce any miracles to bring Esau anything out of decayed state? Did he do anything like that to any other nation? Moab, Chingyas, did he ever mess with them like that? Stinking Africans, did he come get them and help them? No,
Get them from this lotion.
Yeah, lotion. I was gonna say, get them some shoes and some sandals and sandpaper to rock, to fix themselves, fix their feet. They still got terrible feet, man. The Lord ain't never dealt with them like that since the beginning of time. Esau still hairy, stinky, odor, bathed with just a bar of soap. Don't use towels. Just nasty. We didn't show them that.
Brothers got to remember the talking points that I can bring up. Remember them talking points, man, when brothers are out there teaching, running down the history. Remember those precepts that I can bring up.
They come, man. So the Lord ain't never dealt with them, right? Read.
Verse 33. Whenever people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live.
Did any people hear like Moses, man, right? Read.
Or hath God a saying to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation by temptation?
Read that again, man.
Or hath God a saying to go and take him a nation from the midst of another nation?
Have you ever, from the midst of, no. Read.
By temptation,
Uh-huh.
by signs, and by wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm,
By Christ, right? Read.
and by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in the land of Egypt before your eyes.
Uh-huh.
Unto thee it was shown that thou mightest know that the Lord, he is God. There is none else besides him.
Let's get this last precept, Exodus 33 and 13. So there's no other God besides our God. Ain't no other God coming to save Esau and them, Zeus and all this other God. They can't do nothing, right? This sensible who they looking for. They think that's a God, some doggy string hair, pitiful. Nah, I ain't gonna hippie looking. Yes, that's a good word. Dude go come and save them, right? Let's get this last precept, Exodus 33 and 13. When you get there, read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 13. Now therefore I pray,
This should be in our prayer, man. I pray thee, right?
if I have found grace in thy sight,
Uh-huh.
show me now thy way,
Show me your way, Lord. Read.
that I may know,
That I may know exactly who you are, God, right? Read.
that I might find grace in thy sight,
That I might find grace in your sight. Read.
and consider that this nation is thy people.
And do what?
And consider
That what?
that this nation
That this nation, this great nation is what?
is thy people.
Is who people?
Thy people.
Israel, we are thy people, man. Consider that, man. We don't even consider that thing, man. Just consider it, man. Just consider that we are the people of the Most High God, man. That we have laws, statutes, and commandments that go against this world, man. That they are trying to take our book and put themselves into it. And we just consider that we are the people of the nation, man. We'll be way better off, man. And with that, man, we bring up, we always say keep the law of the Most High God. We thank y'all for tuning in tonight, to this Sabbath day of this class. We always say keep the commandments. Let's get the one we always get, man. What we got today is Leviticus 19 and 17. Because we gotta start doing right by our neighbors, man. Issachar, man, the Colombians, man, so-called Colombians, man, Uruguay. We gotta get that Northern Kingdom back, man. We gotta start helping them out, man. Uruguay. I said it wrong. Uruguay, yeah. Uruguay. Nicaragua, nah, I ain't saying. Yeah, nah. Hey, man, that DISD, man, didn't do nothing for me, man. DISD didn't do nothing for me, man.
Gotta get it over there.
We always say keep the laws of the Most High God, so let's get this law before we in this class, man. Leviticus 19 and 17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17.
Read.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon you.
So we can't hate each other, man. That's the wall of partition that Christ is coming to break down, man. We can't hate each other anymore. We can't fight each other. We got to start trying to build this thing back up and get it back right so the Most High God can come use us and get us out of this captivity, man, right? Read on.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Read.
I am the Lord.
So we should love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And we thank you for listening and tuning in today. If you sent to the GoFundMe or the Cash App, that has been greatly used to uplift this kingdom and push this truth around the four corners. Hey, push this truth and share it, man. Share the videos, Israel. Happy Shabbat. With that, we say Shalom.